Holy, I am so sorry. Hey everyone, Matt here again, and now I'm talking about my Ben 10 action figure collection. I only ever collected the standard Bandai editions, nothing too special like these. My collection isn't complete due to not being able to buy most of them when I was a kid, and also giving them away to people that don't really deserve it, so yeah, that sucks. I'll start where it all began, of course, the classic Ben 10 line. I distinctly remember buying Wildmutt first because I have two of them for some reason, and also two Bens. These Bens are pretty roughed up, but they surprisingly held up after all these years of wear and tear from playing. I particularly remember bringing one of these Bens to the pool with a toy boat. That's why there's rusting on the screws here. Sorry, Ben. Articulation wise, pretty standard human figure really. No elbow articulation, just the whole arm. How considerate of Bandai in the mid 2000s. Next up is Wildmutt. The articulation is as what you expect for a dog-like action figure, and I do appreciate that they added one for the jaw. Nice detail on the tufts of fur on the back and the eye gills on his neck. Fun to play with, and I give it a 10 out of good. This one particular Wildmutt serves as Engineer's best friend. I should probably do a review of the TF2 figures that I have. Up next is Heat Blast. Man, this guy has been through a lot actually. First, his legs are broken and I remember putting him in the freezer Captain America style. I honestly have no other explanation other than just doing it for shit and giggles. However, I did notice that in other collectors' pictures, his legs tend to break off easily, so not as fun to play with since the legs are broken and the arm movement is very limited. No butterfly joints and hand rotation, just standard action figure build. It feels like I'm gonna break him if I keep turning his arms, so I don't really play with him that much. Segue! Playing with Stinkfly is always fun. One of my go-to aerial toys when I was a kid, particularly picking up Cannonbolt and using him like a mortar. I do wonder why they didn't paint his teeth in. I would do it myself, but I'm scared I'm gonna screw it up, so I just leave it as is. Tail articulation is nice. I totally forgot he has one. Ben rarely uses his tail to do anything. Overall, pretty great bug action figure. Ripjaws! I brought this guy to pull trips way too much. I do wish they had an attachment feature to switch from legs to fishtail, like in the show. The arms are very limited. It would have been nice if they added like an elbow articulation. It just feels awkward to play with him. But overall, I can forgive that because of his design. I mean, come on. Anglerfish with legs? Hell yeah. Up next is Gray Matter. Oh my god, I remember having a little photography phase when I was like, what, 11? I brought Gray Matter everywhere I go and I called it Gray Matter on the go. Real subtle, I know. I guess you can say he was like Hobie back then. Unfortunately, I lost the Omnitrix icon on his back ages ago, so now he's just a standard Galvan in a black and white jumpsuit. Pretty great articulation actually. If anything, so much articulation. Except butterfly and torso. My figure in particular is very loose, so if I want to pose him, I'll have to be very, very careful. Interesting that you can remove his hands. I guess they scrapped a feature where you could have like switchable hands. Oh well, pretty okay to bring and play with. I also like to think that he's probably actual size. Speaking of Galvans, Upgrade. I absolutely love the Upgrade action figure. He's one of my go-to action figures to play with whenever I open up my toy box. I just imagine him morphing into the various tech appliances in the house or just use him as a TV remote. Articulation wise, barely except for the head, arms, and legs. I really wish they added more. Nowadays, he just spends time making sure my PC stays in good shape. I don't really know how to segue entertainingly, so anyway, Wildvine. It was actually a pretty surreal experience, keeping up with the series from season 1 to up to the mushroom episode, and they reveal a brand new alien, and seeing it on toy shelves the following week? Insane. Just like the other figures, I lost a few accessories here and there. I couldn't find the crown piece, but just recently this year I found his backtail in one of my old crates. Pretty okay articulation for a tall and plant-like figure. Following the same story as Wildvine, when they revealed Grandpa Max's alien ex-girlfriend na alien, hindi alien ex na girlfriend. Upchuck was a pleasant surprise. Brand new alien, brand new toy, pretty poor articulation if not at all. Most of the time I just play with the tail and just toss him back in the toy box. I give it a meh out of good. When they introduced Cannonbolt, at first I was against him in the show because, hello? It's called Ben 10, not Ben 11. But he did lose Ghost Freak, so I guess I can let that slide. Dude has aged through the years, losing paint and looking absolutely tired. And not a lot of articulation, sadly. When you rotate his hand, it looks kind of weird since the paint and pattern do not align. But still fun to play with and or just display. Kind of weird having a mobile character just stay still. So next we have Ben Frankenstein. I genuinely don't know what the hell happened and where's the rest. I am so sorry. But speaking of monsters, I have Ben Wolf, one of my few Ben 10 action figures that's complete with their accessories. I love that you can switch out the head with his sonic howl attack. I love the articulation. I just wish it had chest articulation to maximize the playability. I always do this move whenever I play with my friends because it looks like he's going for a ground slam with his plastic arm tufts. And finally, the last of my classic Ben 10 action figure line, my favorite alien, Accelerate. I actually just got him recently last year. I lucked out on getting him for cheap after all these years. I saw him in a dusty display case when I was originally looking to buy a Mayfix black suit Spider-Man in Green Hills. I immediately got him without even thinking. Pretty basic articulation. The tail is kinda hard to work with, especially since it's molded either up or down, or else you'll have this opening in the tail end. Limited standing poses, but still alright. When it comes to basic action figures, he is my Grail figure. Unfortunately, I do not own Four Arms, Diamond Head, and Ghost Freak due to either people selling them for ridiculously high prices and are just hard to find. I will try to find and buy to complete the classic line before I die. I think it's safe to say that the original line of Ben 10 action figures are my favorite. I mean, come on. These guys are so iconic on the screen and in the writing. And you get to play with them? Amazing. Now on to the Alien Force line. First up, we have Swampfire. I lost Jet Ray's tail somewhere in the mall the same day I got him. I distinctly remember losing the tail in a shoe store, but I don't feel as bad since a lot of people online also lost the tail. Pretty okay action figure, I guess. It's not bad or good. It's just hard to pose since he's molded like he's always flying in one direction, flying or swimming. Chroma Stone. Okay articulation, very thin and lanky build, and nothing too special. Not really my favorite, but yeah, it's pretty much it. I don't really know what else to say about him. Showed this part in the script and video, so... Lodestar! Some lore about this figure. This is the last gift from my grandpa, Papang. I remember my parents urging him not to buy me the figure, but it was also the time that he knew his days were numbered, so that's pretty sweet of him to do. Papang got him for me, and I always played with Lodestar ever since. Even if I wasn't playing, I always have him on my desk. Plus, come on. First hero with magnet powers? Hell yeah. Great articulation, he looks silly when I pull the arms back, and Bandai did a great call of having see-through material for the illusion of his head floating. One of my favorite Ben 10 figures. Character, articulation, design, and sentimental-wise. Alien Force was a bit hard for me to follow, with the economy ramping up in the 2013s and moving away from the city played a big part as well, so it resulted in me only being able to collect a few. If given the chance to collect the rest of the figures, I definitely will, but I wouldn't go out of my way to complete them. Next is the Ultimate Alien line. Ultimate Alien just felt like the later seasons of Alien Force. Not necessarily an entire new show, but that's just me. I started with Ultimate Humongosaur, but like I said earlier, I gave them to someone who doesn't deserve it. I don't have the figure, but I do have his disc laying around. But hey, we have Ultimate Big Chill. I never had the original Big Chill, but I do like red. Articulation is bare bones with the arms and legs and head rotation. The crown on the back always falls off, and I wish they added more joints, so. Other than that, they're pretty cool red butterfly looking action figure, with the power to give you hypothermia, of course. Ultimate Echo. Not only is his power set a banger, but also his design and color. I absolutely love his design. Jumping from the plain white AirPod looking dude to the slick blue design Philips speaker we have here. Articulation wise though, it's half and half. It's great that he has knee articulation. Crap that no elbow articulation. Sucks, but oh well, we still have a great figure, only because he's one of my favorites. Next up are the main aliens from Ultimate Alien season itself, just minus Water Hazard. Armadillo, my favorite of the bunch actually. He has to build enough to be like a weird little remote like this. I love playing with his big arms and just punching. Articulation is pretty great for his build. The legs and feet are fairly limited, and here's a tail articulation in the back. I don't really mind that he doesn't have a head articulation. I mean, come on. Big dude, big arms, I'm set. NRG, or Energy. I just wish they also released an uncaged version, but that form is later shown in Ben 10 Omniverse. Articulation wise, it's what you expect from a tin can figure with some limbs. That's about it. Next we have Terraspin. Wild story about this little guy actually. I ordered from Atamai sometime 2013. I saved up what little cash I had as a 12-year-old and ordered online, but I waited such a long time and I thought I got scammed. So I just settled for a local bootleg here in the Philippines. But after getting sick for a solid month in February, it arrived and my dad brought it to the hospital where I was admitted. I was pleasantly surprised that after getting discharged from the hospital, I walked out with an original Bandai Ben 10 action figure. Pretty okay articulation. I like the little rigid hinges in his arms. His arms just go up and down, his legs twist, that's about it. For some reason, he has a shell removal feature, but I don't really have a reason to do that, so I just keep the shell on. Next is Amphibian. Really cool jellyfish alien, the smartest and a bit of an asshole in the show. I really like the design because, hello? A jellyfish? They already look like an alien as it is, and they can fly and shoot electricity. Toy-wise, okay articulation, arms go left and right, knees go up and down, head go left and right. Pretty cool to just have on my desk, honestly. As for Ben 10 Omniverse, I love the show, just not sure if I want to buy the figures. Alright, this is the end of the video. That's my Ben 10 action figure line. Thank you for watching. Bye!